everyone, and welcome to Conversations with Changemakers, a 180 Degrees consulting podcast where we invite social impact leaders who are contributing to creating lasting and meaningful change in their communities. My name is Emma, co-host of this podcast and Global Communications Specialist at the Global Leadership Team at 180DC. I'm very excited to be joined by Blessing Akpan, the president and co-founder of 180DC ALU, the African Leadership University in Rwanda. Blessing is a passionate social entrepreneur dedicated to solving issues around educational inequality, and she has 3 years of experience in a variety of different education organizations, such as the Innovative Child Network and Edustipend. Thank you very much for joining us, Blessing. Would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself further?
Thank you so much, Emma. It's a pleasure to be here. As Emma rightly stated, my name is Blessing Akpan. I'm from Nigeria. I grew up in the South, and currently I'm in Rwanda. I study in Rwanda, my second year at the African Leadership University, entrepreneurial leadership as my degree program. I'm passionate about social impact, and for about 4 years now, I've been building my career around project management, managing direct projects in the social impact space. It's been my passion because I actually grew up having challenges in education, and I saw a lot of kids around me who have different challenges as such, and I was motivated and inspired, to help the kids, starting campaign programs on education and gathering books for them. And this is where the journey has led me to being the co-founder of and a consulting firm that provides consulting services to social impact projects and organizations. I am super excited because it enables me put my experiences and my skills to use and support more organizations. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As you are 180DC's 180th branch, this is a very exciting time for us, especially as we're expanding into a region where there isn't much presence already. So I would like to know, how did you come across 180 Degrees Consulting, and how did you think of creating the branch, and how did that process go?
All right. Thank you, Emma. I think sometime in February this year, 2024, one of the GLT members sent me a message on LinkedIn. And before now, I think we had like two sessions, info sessions from 180 Degrees Consulting that came to just talk about the organization and how the students can take part of it. I think I was actually in one of them. And then I was surprised when one of the GLT members sent me a message on LinkedIn if I would be happy to co-found the branch, because some students also indicated interest. And that was how we started the process. I wasn't just the only one. We had, other AOU members who were quite interested in starting the branch as well. So that was the journey, how the journey started from February. And then we just rounded it off. I think by September was when it was formally launched. I would say the journey has been amazing, and it's taken us through a series of steps and experiences that to some of us was actually new, but we're just excited that it's something that we got to learn, and especially when it has to do with social impact, being excited and about the end goal, how our actions, would be able to impact our community. So I would say generally it was such a wonderful journey, especially since we got so much support from a GLT branch to, successfully launch it.
And how was the reception at ALU? Was there a lot of interest in joining from the beginning? Did you have to go through phases of making sure people knew what it was about? How was that whole process?
I think because the one HCDC had an info session with us initially, it was quite easy because for some of the team members, staff, faculty, they already knew about 180, especially the student professional development. And also we had like a mini informal, unofficial, info session again when we were when we were still in the proposal stage of registering 180 degrees. And we had about 20 to 30 students who attended, and they indicated interest. They were quite enthusiastic. And one thing to know about at ALU is that we have young people who you know, up to 70% are either having a social impact startup or a business or organization, or think about starting one. So, we have the right audience, and we're able to, get so much positive feedback from the students. And then when we had the launch event too, we had a whole lot of turns up. We have over 100 signs up, and a lot of students turned up for it, yes, online. And in addition, I would say the support we have from our student professional development teams, which are tasked with the responsibility of ensuring that students are able to build their skills professionally, was, incredible. And, I believe that we couldn't have gone really this far without them. So, yeah.
I'm really happy to hear that it had such a strong reception and also that you've received so much support as well. I think from the sounds of it, ALU is quite a unique university. Is it quite focused on entrepreneurship? How has that helped you with founding 180DC?
All right. For the fact that, ALU focuses on entrepreneurship and also social entrepreneurship, not just entrepreneurship as the case may be. And because of this, it's actually helped us because we already have students who are student entrepreneurs, also students that have been providing, maybe unofficially providing expertise or professional advice to other organizations, even to their fellow students, on how to scale their impact, on how to, make their activities better. So I believe that because we have that already, it's been quite, I wouldn't want to use the word easy because nothing comes easy, but I would say it's been quite useful for us, because we have that community already. Since LU is focused on entrepreneurship, we already have that student body. We already have students who have the expertise, and we have the students who have the interest, who are eager, who understands the challenges that the African continent face, or the challenges that organizations, even the students that are founding startups, they're founding social enterprises, non-profits, they know the challenges that they face, and they are eager, to help. And the most amazing thing is that they have an opportunity to get on a platform that does it professionally, where they get recognition, they get support, they get training. They don't just do it, alone. They have a team supporting them. So I would say, yes, that's the university being an entrepreneurial university, actually aids our operation.
And as president, do you have any advice for any future founders of 180DC branches of what you think they should prioritize, or any advice you've learned through the process yourself?
Oh, all right. I think, yeah, definitely I have a couple of advice. And the first one I would say, start with a clear vision and mission. I have been a founder of an organization, the Innovative Child Network, where I actually help empower teenagers and children in the community with skills. So the vision and mission there was to, bridge the digital divide. I have what I wanted to set out to do. And for 180DC, which is like we are building upon, what has been built before, but but in a whole, the vision and mission for us here at LU is to, empower students with the skills and expertise, they need to provide expert solutions to challenges faced by social impact and nonprofits, and even their community at large. So when you have that vision, when you have that mission set out, every other thing, becomes easy. And then secondly, build the right team. When we started out at 180 DC, the one thing that helped us, push forward, even when you felt like the process was a little bit difficult, because we didn't have to do it alone. It had like about 5 people was on the team. And I want to take this moment to just say a big shout out to Philip, to Daniel, and to Chibuzo and Bisayo. They were so amazing. They helped every step of the way. They had the skills, needed to put our proposals together, and every other process that followed suit. And then I would also add that you have to embrace the challenges. You have to recognize them. In the journey of being a founder, you would face challenges. But if you try to, behave like there is none or try to get out of it quickly, you might fall a victim. But if you try to embrace it and look for ways that you can turn the circumstance into opportunity to learn and improve, you realize that at the end of the day, that challenge was a way to help you become more effective and learn more. And then the next one, I would say, you have to leverage the networks you have. You have to leverage partnership. I believe that you wouldn't have gone this far without the support of our student professional development and even our faculty advisor at AOU. You don't have to work alone. You don't have to work in isolation. You have to bring these people in your school because they are the ones that will help you to pull the crowd that you need, the student that you need, the right audience that you need. And then finally, I would say celebrate your wins, whether big or small. So at this point, we have officially, I think a few days ago, we officially received an email that all our onboarding checklist has been done. And it's been so exciting for us, yes, because it's been so much. It's been like almost 12 months of going through the registration process. So please do not feel like it's too much, right? But try to enjoy the process. Just go through the process. Don't think about the end goal, but think about the process because when we finished the whole process, we reflected on it and realized that, it helps us become better in terms of it. For example, preparing slides, PowerPoints, for for instance, understanding some technicalities and some registering words when it has to do with consulting. That is what the process does for you. So I wish you all the best, and I believe that you can do it.
I think that was the perfect combination of advice of motivation, but also practical advice of how to get through the challenges, how to use the resources and the community around you. So I think that will be really useful for future founders. How do you see your branch evolving, and what's your future vision or plans for the branch?
Okay, for our branch, seeing our branch evolving, the first one I would say expanding the scope of a project. I actually envision that we will be increasing our projects to education, healthcare, include infrastructure, entrepreneurship, and even sustainability. By doing this, we will be able to widen the scope of the problems that we are tackling and the economic issues in our community. And I believe that we are going to do this by, leveraging on more partnerships, not just with us within ALU, but, other African countries, each African countries as well. And then secondly, I also envision us building a legacy of excellence. As much as we are uh, the 180th branch, I would say it's important for us to establish a reputation that shows that we've been putting in place effective and reliable consulting. So I look forward to, seeing that for our branch, ensuring that we maintain the high standard for our project. And I also, most importantly, the students, I look forward to seeing the students move from being consultants who are just learning to expert consultants through engagement with resources and mentors, and also having access to competitions like case competitions, not just within Rwanda or Africa, but globally.
I think that's really exciting, and I think everybody at the GLT and 180 Degrees in general will be very looking forward to collaborating with your branch as well. I think that's what's also quite special about our global network of branches is that they can bounce off of each other, have stronger and a wider reach of social impact by collaborating. So I'm really excited to see where your branch goes. I think now we'll move on a bit to your own experience, and I'm curious because you define yourself as a social entrepreneur. Where do you think your passion for social impact came from?
All right. I would say my passion for social impact came from an experience. It was something that happened to me a couple of years ago when I was in my primary school. So I was one kid who was really not outspoken, actually, and I loved my vision, or I would say my passion was always to be a teacher. So one day, while we were having end of the year party, we were preparing for it. I told my teacher that I was going to play the teacher role during a kind of a play. And she told me that I couldn't speak well, so I wouldn't be given that role. That crushed me. And going on, I realized that there were lots of kids who had that, were not that outspoken as others, and they were just shoved aside, right? They were not given opportunity or tried to be helped. And I felt like that was my mission to, make it better, to give every children the equal opportunity to be themselves, to access opportunity. So that was how I started in education. I started teaching kids. And then when I got to a point where I started using social media. I leveraged my social media presence to carry out campaigns that, gather educational resources, books, storybooks, novels, to help kids enhance their reading capabilities as well as their self-esteem, boost their self-esteem. And that was how I got to work with a series of non-profit organizations to empower kids in rural community. Example was Junior Achievement, Technovation Girls, Scratch Foundation, Django Girls, which typically was had to do with technology a lot. And then I got to a point where I had to found my own nonprofit organization because I wanted to take it to a next level. And I brought in mentors and we went to interior communities to help support kids. And we actually branched into bridging the digital divide between the kids in the rural community and the kids in the urban community. And that was where this all started, right? And then now, presently, I've actually taken it a notch higher. Instead of doing it directly by going to empower students, I actually empower organizations who in turn empower their beneficiaries. I believe that way I will be able to reach more people. It's more like a ripple effect, where you do one thing and then the impact, skyrockets, and you're able to reach thousands and millions of people. So now, instead of, reaching about maybe 20%, I get to support maybe two organizations, and then they are able to impact beneficiaries up to 200, up to 300, up to 500. So I would say the difference with the work I did today and the work I did yesterday is just changing, how would I put it? Just give me a second.
Increasing your reach?
Yeah, yeah, changing the approach, changing the approach. I'm still doing the same thing, but actually changing the approach. I actually take the experience that I had, something unpleasant that I had in the past, and mold it and let it help mold me into I let it mold me into using it as a positive experience to help other people become better.
I think that's so great to hear of, as you said, using an experience where you felt really put down, really unsupported, and seeing that as an opportunity to help a lot of other children who are in that situation and giving them the skills and resources to reach that is exactly what social entrepreneurs do. They spot a problem and they try and solve it themselves. So that's really interesting to hear about. So you mentioned the other NGO that you founded, which was the Innovative Child Network. Can you tell me a bit about how that process of founding it was versus 180DC and any challenges or problems that you faced with that?
I would say the difference between founding a TIC network and founding 180DC was, for TIC network, I was the actual founder. 180DC is like, bearing a chapter of what has already been existed, but TIC network wasn't existing already. And for a TIC network, I started alone. 180, I had, team members that I could start off with. And I had to, design a process that would, when I bring others in, they would be able to follow that pattern template, design a template to enable others who I bring in follow it seamlessly when it comes to branding, when it comes to, documentation, etc. So in the process of doing this, I found other people who shared my vision, and they decided that, oh, they are going to be part of it. Mentors. I remember during the COVID-19, I found it in 2019. During COVID-19, we had to transition entirely online teaching, online learning for kids in rural community. And it was a challenge because, these kids don't really have access to internet and devices and all, but we had to improvise. And, from a vision I had just personally, I was able to find people who identify with that same vision and they came in to help. You know, I reached out to my associates, my colleagues, online, and they were happy to help and all of that. So I would say it might not be entirely different from 180 DC because it just has to do with you leading and you making sure that a particular vision is being followed. Since what ATDC was already laid down, we just have to follow that, but kind of tailor it into our audience at 180 DC. That was the same with TIC Network. Laying down a vision and then be able to communicating it to people that are coming into the community to know what we're doing so that they're able to also relay the vision to whoever wants to hear about CIC network as well. So it was really incredible. So does 180 DC, and they are not quite different because I believe that the leadership experience I had with the TIC network has helped me, founding 180 DC and going on.
And so you mentioned that it started just as an educational NGO focusing on that, and then you moved into digitalization. How did you go about, because I know it was based in Nigeria, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, and there's quite a gap between coverage and usage, and even when people do have access to service, broadband, internet, there's still that gap between usage. How did you go about breaching that gap?
All right. First of all, I would say that as sometimes we as social entrepreneurship, we want to you know, save the whole world, I would say, eradicate a problem entirely. But sometimes it's not possible. Also, when you are coming up with initiative or projects, you want to reach everybody, but sometimes the truth is it's not always possible for you to reach everybody. So I knew that, as we started, I knew that early. So even though we wanted to reach people, especially children who were sent home, who their schools had been shut down because of the COVID, we knew that we won't be able to reach, all of them. So what we did was we tried to use low tech. That instead of saying it's mandatory for students to use a laptop for their classes, we told them, okay, you could use a smartphone. So some children were able to use their guardian smartphones, their aunties, their big brothers. So that actually helped. We wish that we could do something more than that, maybe even give out smartphones and laptops, but we couldn't. So what we did was ensure that at least we give everyone a fair chance to be able to be part of the class. So that was what we did. We allowed them use smartphones, and we even had to connect to their parents and uncles and aunties to speak on their behalf so that they allowed them. And also we provide asynchronous learning materials like pre-recorded videos and resources for them to read at their own spare time so that they won't have to always be in a class one-on-one because the persons whose phone they are using may not always be available for them to use their device. So we ensure that we make the resources available for when the device would be available for them to use.
I see. So it's all about trying to adapt to every situation that is thrown at you. I mean, COVID-19 must have been, everybody was so taken aback by that. So trying to
Yeah.
adapt a new initiative during that time must have been really challenging. And I can see how that experience has really helped you in your founding of your branch at ALU. Um, I wanted to ask, how do you see social impact progressing in the future, specifically in Africa? Where do you see the new priorities are? What do you think the new issues are? And how do you think your generation is helping to tackle those issues now?
Well, initially there were myriads of issues people have been focusing on. We have climate change, we have education, we have healthcare, women empowerment, inequality. All of these challenges are still going on right now. right? And I think one of the things that gives us, a little bit consolation is the fact that every single day there are young people who are doing something in their little space, in their communities to mitigate these issues, to ensure that we reduce the numbers of people who are going through these challenges. And I believe in the future, the challenges would still be there, are still there. But then in the age of digitalization, technology has really helped to minimize issues, minimize challenges. For instance, we have organizations who have developed a book. It's actually a digital book that helps children learn literacy in rural communities. And then we also have other organizations who are taking campaigns of inequality online, which are reaching thousands and millions and hundreds of people. And I believe that in certain communities, we have challenges like child marriages, but because of campaigns that are going on, there's been laws against such issues. So I believe in today's world, we have technology that has taken over in diverse sectors, in diverse spaces that have escalated the solutions to all of these problems. We have healthcare. In terms of healthcare, there are technologies that are being developed, to take care of certain issues and certain challenges. And I believe that because of that, we have the solutions are being expedited. The issues are being taken to another level and are being seen, and people are rising up to ensure that these solutions are being brought about for the good of everyone in the community. So in a nutshell, I would say because of technology and because of how everything has gone, we have things are actually becoming better in our today's world, and we have more young people who are you know coming up to ensure that their voices are heard in the problems that they're advocating against.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the great things of technology, because I mean there are a few downfalls, but I think it really helps create a bigger community and you can expand your reach and facilitate solutions that once before took a lot longer. Um, so I think one last serious question, and then I have two fun questions to ask you. Um, how do you see 180DC impacting your future career? And do you have any ambitions after your time at ALU? Will you go back to the TIC network, or what really is your plan for the future?
I would say founding 180DC has been a pivotal experience, and it actually shaped my career, a trajectory. And I would say number one, in terms of in enhancing my leadership abilities and capabilities, actually leading a team. Today, I think we are actually eight, and leading a team, setting the pace, and designing strategies for our brand has helped me understand what leadership is, and helping me to become more effective in the future. And then, secondly, I would say I've been able to gain more practical experience when it comes to social impact work. Although right now we are yet to take on project because we just launched, we are hoping to do that next year. But currently engaging with clients, would be clients, and in putting in place trainings for our consultants, has really prepared me for what is to come. And then finally, I am currently a program manager. I work with projects, and so being a leader of founding 180DC and managing teams and people, stakeholders, communications, as it's actually part of the skills that I develop as a project and programs manager. So I believe my role here at 180 degrees consulting is helping me, build a better career for myself. And I would say after my graduation, I'm actually hoping, as much as I don't know the future, like wholly, but I'm hoping to, you know, continue my studies, my postgraduates. And of course, I would still be running TIC Network because it's actually my baby, and you're seeing the impact is having in the Nigerian community, enabling kids to develop skills, understand themselves better to take informed decisions about their future. It's something worth continuing. However, I believe that, um, going back to the drawing board, thinking of way to be more sustainable in terms of our approach would be very important. So as much as we will be looking at the drawing board to look for more ways that we can be more sustainable with our work, it doesn't mean that, I'm going to stop doing that entirely. So yeah, I will still be on that. But then what I can see now from here is that I will definitely be continuing my career in projects and programs management, and also being an effective leader in the social impact space.
Well, it sounds like you have a lot of fun initiatives and future plans, and I'm really excited to see how 180DC and your branch helps you get there as well. So now I'm going to ask a bit more of a fun question. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would you tell her?
I would say, hold on, help is on the way.
Beautiful. I like it. Short and simple. The other question is, what's a book, podcast, or experience that significantly changed the way you think?
All right. Okay, yes. I think I would like to share about an experience. Um, Before now, I used to think that if I didn't know something, I just have to be, run away from what I don't know, right? But just I think it has to do with the workplace, right? My boss gave me something to do, and I didn't know how to go about it. So I was just meandering with it, and I was just taking time, afraid to ask because I didn't want to be seen as not knowing or being dumb. So I just left it. And I ended up not doing the right thing because I tried other ways. I ended up not doing the right thing. And then when my boss now asked for that deliverable and I gave it to him, he saw that what I did wasn't correct. And he then asked me why I didn't come to him to ask for more clarification. That sometimes we face ambiguity in the workplace, that, you don't have to be afraid to ask questions when you don't understand. And I couldn't explain because there was no, justification for that. But then after he spoke to me, I realized that, it's important for you to ask questions when you don't understand. It's better to ask than not ask and then do the wrong thing. So at that time, I realized that there's nothing in this world that would make me feel ashamed to ask question, no matter how dumb, no matter how stupid I think that question would be. As long as I get a response that would help me make my work easier or help me make an informed decision, I will definitely ask. I don't care what anybody thinks. I will ask the question, even if it's not the right question to ask. I'll ask the question so that I can get a response that I need, to make my life all easier. Yeah. So the less fear, always ask the question. Always ask questions.
Yes, yes. It's much better to appear that way than go into something and pretending that you know. Because I think just being humble and admitting that you're always open to learning and open to being wrong is the best way to keep learning. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Blessing. This was really interesting to chat to you, and I'm really excited to see where your branch goes, and everybody at 180DC as well is. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Emma, for your time. And I hope that you have a wonderful weekend as well.
Thank you.